Dana Knowles, our guest here on the program, along with our co-hosts Jonathan Bodwell and Matt Miller. Gentlemen, welcome back. Good to be here.
Thanks,
Dana,
sir.
good to see you.
Good morning. It's great to be here. It was a nice surprise when you reached out and asked me to come in. And
Yeah.
what are we going to talk about? I
Well,
don't know. I'm here. I'm prepared.
Always said to me, if you get a late cancellation,
I did.
text me. So I got a cancellation yesterday, so I texted you.
And I responded right away. Said, yeah, in studio. Here we are.
So you are one of the folks in the area with entrepreneurship skills. You've taken a product from concept to the market successfully and made money doing it. And you did it so well, in fact, that the company asked you to be kind of an advisor to those who are trying to do the same thing.
That's absolutely correct. Actually, I'm working for that company full time now.
I understand. It's turning
Wow.
into a good paid gig.
It's yes, I have finally arrived.
Yes, you have. Yeah. Let's review the product that you took from concept to the market to successfully marketing it and how that all worked.
Okay, so I've always been very creative, and I think a lot of people are very creative. And how many times have we come up with an idea and then 5 or 10 years later saw it on the market and said, "I thought about that. Why didn't I do something?" And so I didn't know how to bring a product to market, and through a lot of mistakes, spent a lot of money doing all the wrong things, listening to all the wrong people. And then I realized I was listening to all the people who never did what I wanted to do. And there's a light bulb moment, like, why am I listening to these people? Anyway, so I came across a company called Invent Right. It's very similar to the name that you see on TV with the caveman. So this is a completely different company. And what they do is teach and guide and mentor inventors on how to license their product ideas. Now, licensing is when you enter into a contract with a company, a brand who sells products, and the company agrees to manufacture, market, and sell your product under their brand, but you own the product because it's your idea. It's all in the contract. And then when the product starts to sell, the company pays the inventor a royalty. And that's what I did. And that's what Invent Right walked me through the process, through their mentor program. So I could learn everything from how do I present it to, what companies am I showing it to, how am I, working through a licensing agreement, how's that going to all be structured? And so I did that. I had a shower caddy. And a simple shower caddy that solved a problem for me. And I took it to market through licensing. I did license it to a company, Grand Fusion Housewares. It was on the market, on the market for about 5 years. I collected royalties on a quarterly basis. And last year, the company filed for bankruptcy.
Oh, no.
So the shower caddy just kind of died a slow death.
Who has the rights to the shower caddy since they went?
I do. Okay. I still have the rights to it, and I can license it to another product. But unfortunately, this world is so big, and I didn't get any protection on it. I didn't get a patent. I should have gotten at least a design patent on it, but I didn't. And then when my product was on the market, at about 350, 400 5-star reviews, another one popped up on Amazon. And then at 600, 650 5-star reviews, another one popped up on Amazon. Now, these companies on Amazon are like non-existent. You don't even know who they are. And the company that I licensed it to could have went after them, but it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to go after somebody to take, you got to hire companies to do that, and it's very hard to go across the world and fight somebody to take that.
How many units over 5 years did you end up selling?
I probably sold somewhere around 100,000.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really awesome. It was a good run, man. You know what? This is how I look at it. An inventor's dream, and all you inventors out there listening, is a dream. It's not really about the money. It's about taking an idea that came out of our heads and getting it out there for people to enjoy. And I don't know which was more enjoyable for me, we call it mailbox money every quarter, getting mailbox money. You never know what you're going to get. You open up the mailbox and
best day. Best
$2,000,
day.
$3,000, $5,000, whatever. And but seeing total strangers on Amazon give your product 5-star reviews. That's a rush.
That is.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. Yeah. So meanwhile, while we're doing all,
but how long did it take you from the moment you came up with the idea that this is something that needs fixed, I'm going to do this. And then from that till the first one sells, how long was that journey?
Okay, so I came up with the idea probably 6 months to a year prior to getting mentorship. I studied under this company. I was in InventRight for about 11 weeks. I was prepared to start reaching out to companies. I reached out to this is good. These numbers are great. I had about 80 companies on my list that I could reach out to, because you got to have should have a big pool of companies. So I learned how to reach out to them, follow up with them. 37 of those companies never responded to me at all, even after numerous follow-ups. 52 companies saw my product idea, and 52 companies said they weren't interested. And the 53rd company said yes.
Wow.
So that was that probably
should have started with that one.
I know, I should have started with that one. It was a smaller company, of course. I started with the bigger ones, my dream companies, and then went down the list. But from the time I started reaching out until the time the company saw it was probably a little less than 1 year. Mm-hmm. And then after they saw it, they wanted the prototype, which I was able to manufacture. I made it myself. It was a pretty rough prototype, but they could get it. Then they have to send it over to their manufacturers for manufacturing quotes, and it goes back and forth for a while, and then they come back and say, yes, we're going to do this, and then you go into the contract stage. So I didn't sign the contract for another 6 months, and then it showed at the Chicago Houseware Show in the spring of 2019. So I joined InventRight in the spring of 2017, so we're talking 2 years. And then it showed at the Chicago Houseware Show. Buyers really liked it. And the company I licensed to said we're going into full production. And it went on the market in the end of August 2019. Okay. And it had a good run till the end of 2024.
Did you go to the show?
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say,
shows.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I like trade shows. Yeah.
Well, your energy, I'm sure, helped with the product.
I don't get a booth when I go to the show. I mean, the company that I licensed to had the booth, but I was there to, talk to people about it and that kind of stuff. And some companies want you to do it, want you to be more involved. Some companies are just like, hey, thanks for the great idea. We'll send you a check whenever it goes. It really just depends on the company.
What's the sweet spot for a selling press?
Well, mine was $10, but I don't really know. It really depends on the product. That can vary.
10, you would think that would be okay.
Yeah, it was $10,
right.
So it sold pretty well for 10.
Did you do like 2 for $15, or did they package it like that?
That you could go buy a 2-pack. And when I found out the company was filed for bankruptcy, I went in and bought like 20 of them. I had to buy my own product just so I would have them.
Sure.
And I took all the screenshots of all the 5-star reviews and everything just so I would have it in case I ever needed it for the future. And I've pitched it to a couple other product companies, but they haven't picked up on it because it's already out there. Now there's 2 other things out there pretty much just like it. But that's not, the point is I did it. Mm-hmm. I did it. I had a goal. I had a, Earl Nightingale, if you ever listen to Earl Nightingale, he talks about the strangest secret, and he says, have a goal and achieve that goal. You are a success, whether it, continue to grow or not. But through that, the company that I studied under, InventRight, had called me and wanted me to work part-time for them. This was through COVID, when Dana's Tuxedo was dead, like every other business, no proms, no weddings, nothing, no events. And I started working for them part-time. And then last couple of years ago, they wanted me on full-time. So I actually sold Dana's Tuxedo in September 2024. Yeah. And I'm working for the company now full-time.
Matt Miller.
Was it through InventRight that you were able to put your list together of companies? In other words, I'm thinking if I have an idea and I've made my rough prototype, I would have no clue how many companies are out there or who to even contact that might actually turn my product into something that could be sold. How do you get that list?
Yeah, that's being taught how to research companies. The first thing that we would do was go to a store. Where do you think your product's going to be sold? Is it going to be sold at AutoZone? Is it going to be sold at Walmart? Is it going to be sold at Home Depot? You go in the stores, go to the section where you think your product would be hanging or on a shelf, and you start looking at other brands. And people don't realize, you turn the package around. Who makes this? Oh, that's the company I want to reach out to. Okay. And you then, LinkedIn, Zoom Info, Apollo IO, all those other platforms that you can just find people. And you type in, there's probably a list of maybe 15 different titles that we search of who works at this company, somebody in product development, procurement, even legal, vice president, CEO, all those, and you just start reaching out to them and say, hey, I got an idea. Are you open to licensing? And some of them say, nope, we're not. We never know. We have our own product development team. But a lot of companies, I don't know how all these tariffs are going to play out. That's, I've been reading a lot about that because it's affecting, especially the smaller companies are a little bit nervous about what's going to happen.
A lot of this production is overseas, correct?
A lot of it is overseas, yeah. I would probably say that maybe 10% of the companies manufacture in the U.S. And the rest of them are overseas. They have a U.S. base. They're in the U.S., but they manufacture overseas. But with all the different platforms that we use to find people, you can pretty much find anybody anywhere nowadays, Yeah. But it's a learned skill.
So in your job, are you telling people, yes, we're interested, no, we're interested, or not, or are you helping them through the process once they get the interest?
Well, what I do in my job, so now InventRight has 2 divisions. We used to just have the coaching mentorship program. Now we have another division. It's the division that I had, which is called the Gateway program. So Gateway is, and I'll give you a scenario. Rob, you come to me and you say, I got this idea. And you have to fill out an application. We look at the application. We want to see how far along are you. Do you have a working prototype? Because you got to have proof of concept. You got to prove it works. You can't just have I got an idea on a napkin type thing. Do you have any protection? Patents we love, but you don't necessarily have to have a patent. You can have what's called a provisional patent application filed with the USPTO, and I'm not even going to get into that because that's really way in the weeds. So we look at your product idea. If we decide to take you on as a client, we are going to present your product to 10 companies that are open to outside ideas that are in your industry. So we do a lot of the work for the inventor. So the inventor doesn't have to do the research. Okay. And we already have a huge list of companies. We have relationships with over 700 companies right now that are open to outside ideas for licensing. So they're willing to look at these. Some of the bigger companies, Stanley Black & Decker, I talked to Stanley Black & Decker, and the thing about them, that some of the companies, they won't even look at anything without a patent. They're telling you, they told me right out, we'll gladly look at anything. I'm the guy to look at it, but if it doesn't have a patent, don't even send it. It has to be either a public patent or an issued patent.
When it comes to the prototype, how do you make that?
Well, that's a really interesting question because a lot of people don't understand about prototypes. There's a couple different ways. You can do a 3D printed prototype. You can have somebody make a prototype that's really expensive because especially if there's molding, that's going to be really expensive to make one product. You could pay up to $10,000, $15,000. But then there's this thing called an animated prototype that they create a product that doesn't exist and they show how it works all on the computer. So we do that for our clients too, if they can't make a physical prototype. So
a few pieces of cardboard and some tape, I can put something together, but that's not going to be good enough.
Well, it really just depends what the product is. Okay. We have a client right now who actually his prototype is made out of cardboard, and it's just painted really pretty. And in the pictures in the video, it doesn't look like it's cardboard, but it is cardboard. Yeah, okay. So it really just depends on if you have a tool, depending on the tool, you may want to have a working prototype. Even if it's something that you take, we call it Frankensteining something together. You take a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this, and you put it all together, duct tape it, glue it, super glue it, whatever you do. It just has to function because there's 2 types of prototypes. It's a looks like prototype or works like prototype. Most companies really don't care about what it looks like. They want to see what it works like because the company who licensed it is the one. They're going to design it however they want it and make it the colors they want it and the size and all that.
Then you don't have any say in that? Or did you have some say in that as far as colors or, hey, I really don't like the way that looks. Can we change something? Or once you, like your product, once you signed that contract, kind of the company took over at that point?
The company I worked with my shower caddy, they did want some of my input because I'm a seamstress, so I knew fabrics. So they were asking me about the fabric, the mesh, because it's it was a mesh shower caddy. Okay. So, and I was able to give them valuable insight on the mesh. Good. And elastic on the pockets. But some companies don't want any input at all. They're just like, thanks a lot for the great idea. We signed a contract. We'll send you a check every 3 months and usually contracts are 5 years, but there should be a rollover clause in your contract for another 5 years. My contract actually did roll over for another 5 years. We were in our second contract, the first year of our second contract, when the company filed for bank. And I really am grateful for that company. They really did a good job. They were just a smaller company, and
That
things
helped you
happen.
fulfill your dream. Jonathan
Well,
Bonwell.
let me ask you this: do you ever have the urge to get back in the game, to invent something else,
I
to
invent-
do it again?
I invent all the time, but I'm like the shoemaker's kid, right? I'm like so busy talking to other people and helping other people that I don't work on my own stuff, and I have all kinds of ideas and
Let me ask you this.
connections too. All I got to do is make it and do a video and shoot it out to them.
What are the 3 or 4 things that you would tell a young entrepreneur to help them get off the ground, to help them, see past themselves? I've been an entrepreneur. I've owned businesses. The last time I had a job, I was in college delivering pizzas, and that was in the 80s.
Yeah, me too.
I've owned businesses since then. What would you tell a young entrepreneur to help them get out of their own way and figure out how to move forward?
I think the biggest thing, any business or inventing or whatever, find a mentor. Find somebody who's already done what you want to do and listen to them. And this is the thing I find with inventors. I talk to inventors all the time because they call us to want to know what we do and what I should do next, whatever. And man, we're stubborn. Jeez, stop listening to a million people on YouTube, and stop listening to they're trying to find all this knowledge from everywhere, and it's just this jumble of stuff. And inventors kind of have this personality of being very, ADD. I'm all over the place, shiny here, shiny there, everywhere, and never really get anything productive. So finding a mentor is number one, no matter who it is. I had a mentor in the tuxedo business. Probably the other thing is to get educated, because a lot of inventors spend a lot of money on a lot of stuff that they don't have to spend money on. I mean, I could come up with an idea right now, make a homemade prototype, do a sell sheet, do a quick video myself, and get it in front of companies, and file a PPA, which is like $65. I can write my own PPA.
What's a PPA?
A provisional. I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm talking to people.
Provisional patent application.
That's like that big word you used earlier.
Yes.
I was like, John, you used a big word. Provisional patent application. What a provisional patent it's an application that you file with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. It's written in common English. You talk about the problem, maybe how it be manufactured, the workarounds, so some simple line drawings, and you file that with the United States Patent and Trademark Office, the USPTO. It generally will cost about $60. I think it's somewhere around $60 or $70 right now. What that gives you is 1 year of patent pending status, so that you can kind of fish your product around and see, is anybody even interested in this before you go hire an attorney to write a full-on patent. Now, if you have a company that's interested within that 1 year, or you think, wow, this is something I should really get patented, you can file a patent within that year, because that provisional application is only good for 1 year. If you file the patent within the year, then they will go back, the USPTO will go back and use the original filing date of the application, because we're a first to file world. I think it used to be first to invent, but now it's first to file. So as a first-time inventor, what are the official things you need to file for so that you don't get ripped off by somebody who sees your idea and takes it to market? Well, I can't answer that, because there are no guarantees that anybody's going to see, that somebody's not going to rip your product off.
What would help you most legally to have prepared, besides the patent?
Probably keep it quiet and only show it to businesses. Don't be showing it out to the public. Don't be putting it on, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever. I think something else too that we have to be leery about is people. What are those things? Where you put your product out there and you get money. What are they called? I can't think of the name of it. A Kickstarter campaign.
I see.
Those kind of campaigns. Now, before that was the way to go if you had a product and you wanted to generate money to bring your product to market. But now there's trolls out there, and they watch for that stuff, and they want to see, you have a product and you're putting it out there, but you don't have any protection on it, and 100, 1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 people want it. Another company can come in and just quickly make it and just blow you out of
Does
the
the
water.
patent give you all the protection that you need?
Well, the patent gives you protection and it will keep some people away. But what a patent does, it doesn't protect you from people knocking off your product. What it does is give you the legal right to go sue them if they do. And that's big bucks. And patents are $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, depends on how much your lawyer's charging you. A patent itself is not expensive to file at the USPTO. It's what hourly rate's your lawyer going to charge you, you know? And then there's, office actions and all that stuff. So, yeah, and a patent can take up to 3 or more years to even get granted.
Good to see you again, Miss Dana.
Miss
Dana.
what?
I call you Delaney for some
Delaney?
reason.
No, you can call me anything.
Dana
you
Delaney,
want.
the actress, Dana Delaney.
Yeah.
That was in my head.
Anytime you want me to come and chat about, I love talking inventing. I
Yep.
love it.
Great passion for it. And you had success doing it, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
100,000 units sold. And you can get the others out of the trunk of her car because you
Yeah,
bought them up.
yeah.
And that makes you the perfect mentor for inventors.
Hey, we're back with the final minute with Dana next.